For us to have someone on our staff, they have to fit our core value competency first before we ever even talk about the technical and tactical competency of a coach.
I let people go, but then I am pissed. So it's not that I don't feel that same emotion. I get angry, I get frustrated, I get upset. But, well, what am I going to do?
It's not from an ego perspective, right? That you just want for them so badly that you know the decision is going to hurt them. And it's how do you stand by that and support them in such a way, because you have to, right? That's what great leaders do. That's what leadership's about.
CJ Appenzeller is a performance coach and strength specialist who's all about helping baseball and softball players get faster, stronger, and more explosive. He's trained everyone from little leaguers to MLB prospects and runs Appenzeller Training Systems in South Jersey.
Talk a little bit about your role as a professor and how to flip that switch to teaching.
The reason I started teaching in the first place was because I saw a massive disconnect between the academic world and the actual hands-on tactical world of coaching.
What are you looking forward to?
I will tell you, number one, I'm terrified because I'm going to be...
In this episode, you're going to hear from a good friend of mine, CJ Appenzeller, owner of ATS Strength, professor and consultant to Major League Baseball programs. We get into his philosophy in coaching, kind of his mission and his values in his life, and how he's been able to build such a successful business working with some of the top performance athletes in the world. If you're an overhead thrower, rotational athlete, or a coach aspiring to work with the best performers in the space, you should give this a listen. And I think we're going to be dropping some pretty good nuggets, some good laughs, but more importantly, you're going to see what it takes to become one of the best in the world. I also have a little bit of an insight that we're going to be doing a masterclass after the start of this conversation later for you. Enjoy. Happy, welcome to the show, baby.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
CJ Appenzeller.
That's me.
It's happy hour.
Happy hour, baby.
So, for those that don't know who you are, a man of many talents, mainly the ones that are comic relief in the high performance space.
Yeah.
For a few drinks in and a good hallway discussion.
Oh, for sure.
Other than that, what does the public know you as? Who are you?
Man. I'm a strength and conditioning coach, gym owner, professor, professional nerd, professional shit talker. Yeah, I think that covers it all.
Yeah, one of my greatest compliments that I ever got was from our good friend, Mr. Eric Serrano, Dr. Serrano, was, Cav, I've known you for so long. Man, you talk a lot of shit, but you're not full of shit. That's the best compliment you've ever given me. You've never said anything nice about me. I'll take it. But yeah, you are a great shit talker. And you're actually really good at what you do.
I appreciate that.
It's been fun to see your journey. I met you with the big beard.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit less professional at that point.
Yeah, absolutely.
We cleaned it up.
You did. You look good.
Yeah.
You look good. Not the sleeves yet, but we'll work on that. Okay. I don't know if we're gonna undo that.
Walk it back.
So, but give me the backstory. Where you're at a point today in your life where you're consulting with Major League Baseball teams, college programs. You're a professor at a college. Yep. You're training some of the most elite performers, overhead throwers, rotational based athletes in the world, whether it be fighters and baseball players. Yep. You're solving people's problems at a very, very high level, and that you didn't start there.
No.
Where did you start?
I started in a 550 square foot sublease in Lindenwold, New Jersey.
I don't even know where that is.
Me neither.
It's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
And where are you now?
So now we have our HQ, which is ATS, just shy of 300 members.
Nice.
Dealing with, like you said, rotational athletes, lots of baseball players, also have a big general population element at that location. Then we have two other locations, Haddonfield, New Jersey, Medford, New Jersey, and then we have a fourth location where the lease is done. So that'll be Mount Laurel, New Jersey. So nice. Exciting stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
You've really kind of owned that whole, Jersey area, Philly area. You are an Eagles fan, so you're probably in a really good mood.
That's right.
For sure. I always know when I know that you're going to be pissed off. It's either one of your players are not getting the right shape, they're not getting treated a certain way, or the Eagles lose.
Yeah. Those are pretty much the only two things that could go wrong.
So in this situation, your players have been kicking ass. Your pros have been dominating high school, college, and pro.
Yeah.
Your fighters are, literally, world title contention consistently.
Yeah.
Your gyms are highly reputable with great experiences. People love you, but most importantly, probably for you, is Philly winning a fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah. Go Birds, man. Go
We're
Birds.
asking about that.
Yeah.
How, from your journey as a coach, like where was your education? Where did that start?
Yeah. So it started for me educating myself, like most, on the internet, searching Joe DeFranco. Joe, which is so funny now, full circle.
Yeah.
Zach Evanesh, yo, homeboy, like doing the whole thing, right? Doing the whole thing. I truly didn't even know, I went to school to play baseball. I'd like to major in baseball. Sure. Right. But I didn't even know that this was an option. I didn't know strength and conditioning was an option. I know there was something you could do. So when I found those guys, those kind of industry pioneers,
Sure.
Everything I could was reading, studying, and then anything that they would recommend, that's what I would dive into. Yeah.
And Joe's an incredible writer.
Yeah.
So I will say that, like, Joe's a really good coach, does a really good job on the detail side of things. And back then there wasn't a lot of people to actually find information from. And Joe really kind of said, hey, I'm going to put out this blog and he's going to put this information out consistently.
Yep.
And the fact is like, he's a great writer. He articulates his message well. Plus it kind of related to, the tough guy mentality,
Yep.
which is good. So he gets it. And
if you are an online trainer or coach looking to scale your business online and provide nutrition lessons, coaching, or training to clients, the #1 software for personal trainers, Coach Catalyst.
What I find to be the most impressive about you is that you're kind of like never satisfied, even if you hit something.
Yep.
You're always learning. You're a constant student.
Yep.
Not only are you a great coach, but you're very coachable.
I appreciate
And
that.
that kind of coachability is paid dividends for you.
Absolutely.
Because you started to learn from not just industry leaders that are well known, but you started to find kind of the people, industry unknowns that were like the grandfathers or grassroots of the origin stories of some of these things.
Yeah.
And you've then traveled the world to learn from them.
Absolutely.
I presented in Amsterdam with Hank, and you're like, I'll be there. And you're around people that don't even speak the same language. You're like, I'm gonna be there.
Figure it out.
Exactly. And I've seen you kind of travel the globe to get to the point to where you are. And I don't think most people have your work ethic.
I appreciate that.
I really don't. I think that I'm proud where you are today, but I don't think that it is practical as a coach to tell people to do what you do, because I don't think most people do it.
Yeah. I mean, you hit on a couple big things, right? So number one, we have core values in our building that are both internally facing and also externally facing, things that we're trying to drive home day in and day out. And you hit two of them like on the nose, right?
What are they?
Number one, always a white belt, right? So it's the construct of like, we're never good at it.
But you're not a white belt anymore. You're a blue belt.
I'm officially a blue belt. Unbelievably, son. It's unbelievable. But I am a blue belt, but always a white belt, right?
Yeah.
And it's this concept of like, we deal with guys who are in Major League Baseball and seemingly are the best in the world at what they do. We deal with guys who are in the top 10 and or are world title holders in boxing, seemingly the best at what they do. And we're still trying to drive home the idea and the fact that you could learn a little bit more. There's another avenue. There's an expansion point that you could really press on and become a greater version of yourself, number one. And then the other thing you hit on was this idea and this construct of like being able to do whatever it takes, or being willing really to do whatever it takes to get to the next level. Our core value for that's called a hard hat mentality, right? And what we like,
Bring your lunch bell, baby.
exactly,
Let's go to work.
Exactly right. We talk about clocking in. We talk about doing the little things consistently well, and that sets you up for these huge opportunities and big growth moments, right? I consistently studied the work of Hank, your work in speed. I mean, James Smith, James the Thinker Smith, we should be clear, his work in applied sprint training, like I had already done all of that work. So then when you say, hey, let's go to Amsterdam and learn from Hank, a guy who I had read every single book he had ever put out.
It's English, because he's got 80 of them in Dutch and different languages. But yes, in English, which is a lot.
I'm like, let's go. I'll hop on the flight. And at least I have some level of context to draw from where I can actually ask intelligent questions. And now, fast forward, Hank and I are friends and it's amazing. And
Well, I seen like that was the first trip. The second trip, it was like you, me, Hank getting fries, going on the like, literally walking Amsterdam together, and it's just nuts. And it's kind of cool to get close to people that are at the root of what you want to learn, the best at what they do. Like they're the best.
yeah,
And then you're able to take that to to your market and serve that community. And your community has developed into an incredible culture.
thank you.
I have the utmost respect for the culture inside of that building because I've watched it happen. I've seen it develop. The kids in there embody the values. So culture is what you see, not what you say.
Correct.
And I'm watching it every day, and I can see the impact that's happening, not just from a performance standpoint, but from their attitudes and their effort and the self-belief that they have, the confidence they have. Like I've watched you have a lot of anxiety and stress because you care so much about things that you pour your heart and soul into them. And I've watched you remove so much anxiety and stress from other people because when they are stressful about something, you just say, I got this.
Yeah.
And you're like, you got this, I got your back. And then you ride with them. And then people don't realize how good they have it. If they walked into your room versus if they walked into just some competitor, they wouldn't have known the difference. It would have been the same decision. But I've seen similar people go this way, and I've seen some people go that way unknowingly because they didn't know you existed. And it's like, that guy may have been better in the beginning, but this guy, like, it is not even close. Like the outputs that we're seeing at those guys, this group of people that took that free trial and turned into a potential free scholarship, whereas this guy took the free trial and turned into stress, frustration, and maybe a good high school career, but it capped out.
Yeah.
I think that what you've been able to do is build a culture of excellence and give that give that value back to your players to where they can embody that in the other environments they go to. So your culture is now permeating through other organizations. I don't know if you're seeing that, but it's being very clear at the high school level, the college level, now in the professional ranks, that the people that do work with you are showing up differently.
Yeah. I mean, that's a few things. Number one, it's my tremendous team, right? I have an amazing team because we hire for those values that we already kind of discussed, right?
If you are a small business that believes that you are better than your competition, but you are not recognized for how good you are, and you want to build your brand and drive attention, need a brand new website or want just general help on marketing? Sites at Scale.
For us to have someone on our staff, they have to fit our core value competency first before we ever even talk about the technical and tactical competency of a coach, right? That's number one. Number two, it's the construct and kind of like what I live my life by as a coach is this idea of coaching being a servant's role. Right? We are the roots, right? We are to lift individuals up, to let them get the sun, let them get the rain, let them grow and become the biggest and best versions of themselves while we kind of stay in the dirt. And that's okay. And that's really what a great coach does is they serve. And then last but not least, I think, and this is something I have to remind myself of all the time and something I really live by, and it's this concept of never be afraid to be the one who loves more. And so often as young coaches, I think,
give and a take. I gotta get this to be fulfilled.
Yeah. And instead of that, just being okay with being a little bit more vulnerable and putting yourself out there to really give that person in front of you everything they need and all the love and care they do.
Yeah, I've been in plenty of situations where I've called you, be like, hey, I need help in this situation. Like, I got you. And I'm like, dude, that's like 6.5 hours away, or that's 4 hours away based on where you are and where I am. And you're like, cool. I'm like, hey, what are you doing tonight? Like, oh, I got to drive back. I got to teach in the morning at a college. And I'm like, it's like, we're at my house till I think it was like 12:30. And I think you had like a 3.5 or 4 hour drive. I was like, you're going to get there at 5. And he's like, yeah, but that's okay. Cause I teach you, I got to shower, do my training session. Then I got to teach at like 8. And I'm like, okay. You're like, you're going to be good. You're like, yeah, I'll be fine. I'll be good. Just a couple coffees in, or I'll be fine.
Not some espresso. We're all
couple coffees in. I'm good.
Figure it out.
Yeah. So like that kind of, again, that figure it out nature, that ability to get shit done, that ability to be like, no excuses, hard hat mentality. That wasn't given to you. That was something that you had to figure out too. It's really permeating throughout, your organization, but it's definitely affecting a lot of people. So it's been pretty exciting to watch.
I appreciate that.
One thing is also interesting too is, you're, you look to be not necessarily the cleanest cut guy. Your personality is all over the place when it comes to funniness. Half the stuff I have to censor, and I don't think I censor much, but you turn it on and you know how to actually put, the suit on and be a professor and educate young men and women in the field so that they have a fast track solution for what they want to do in coaching and exercise science. Talk a little bit about your role as a professor and how to flip that switch to teaching.
Yeah. So I think a few things. Number one, the reason I started teaching in the first place was because I saw a massive disconnect between the academic world and the actual hands-on tactical world of coaching, right? I saw that disconnect. It was very clear to me. And really, I never set out to be a professor at any level. That wasn't ever my goal. My goal was just to coach. But then you realize if you want to create massive impact, you'll have to impact the impactors, right? So I said, man, I'm going to go back. I'm going to do this thing. And for me, it's really easy to button it up because I want to speak the language of the individual in front of me, right? Just like coaching, you have to be a chameleon. One group you could deal with, 4 to 6 pro athletes. You're going to speak to them a certain way. There's a certain demand placed on them. The next group, you might have 5 middle school girls. You're going to show up significantly different.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing with teaching. I put on that professional attire, that professional appearance, and I deliver in such a way that it's understood and it makes sense for the environment that we're in, but also to make sure that I bridge the gap between, hey, this is the academic side of this, and my students will speak to this too. I always go back to this scene in with Johnny Depp in the movie Blow. Right, where he's teaching in the prison, and he goes, listen, if you guys study this GED stuff, half the time I'll teach you what's in the book, and then half the time I'll teach you how to smuggle drugs, right? And I go back to every semester. Yeah, no problem. Right? Every semester I go, listen, half the time I'll teach you what's in this book, and then the other half of the time I'll teach you how we actually apply it at the most elite levels.
Dude, I appreciate you not teaching them how to smuggle drugs.
Yeah, I don't do that anymore so much. I don't appreciate. Yeah, I hope I don't get fired for saying that. But that is the most important concept. Is like I want to bridge this gap for you. Yeah. So I have to show up this way before I can ever bridge this gap because you have to understand that I know this stuff too.
Yeah,
this is real, but it's just not how we apply it necessarily 100% of the time. And I want to be able to demonstrate both.
It's context.
Exactly right.
And I think education today is missing that bridge because what happens is they're too far disconnected from the work.
Yep.
Whereas you show up every single day and coach athletes every single day.
Yep.
And you're teaching consistently at the college level, helping educate the future of our profession, which I think is really valuable, which is something that we didn't have.
Yeah.
Or if we had it, it wasn't structured in a way in which made sense to us.
No.
So that's why we sought better information and sought people out. And I mean, we had to kind of go globally to kind of bring that because that information wasn't on our fingertips like it is today.
Yeah.
And now I think it's even harder because they are on TikTok and Instagram and there's everything that they should be doing. Like, coach, check this out. And you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Whereas back then we would test things in the gym.
Yep.
Like the dumb shit that we would do, it was like, that was a bad idea because, we failed, we got hurt, something dumb happened.
Yep.
Whereas they're not going through that filtering mechanism. They're just watching somebody do it.
And then go. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you are an executive leader that is looking to get in the best shape of your life from a health standpoint and want the same coaches in your corner that are working with professional athletes, then reach out. Athlete HQ.
And that is where I feel you do a really good job because you're constantly challenging yourself and your team to be like, hey, but prove me.
Yeah.
So prove it and prove me that we could actually deliver this because I'm not going to experiment on my athletes.
Correct.
There's an experimental process, but you're not testing or guessing with your guys. You're saying this is the product that inputs our process, outputs, output high performers. How many in-house 90s do you have because of that?
Yeah, 25 plus. And we've helped over 200 guys move on to play collegiate baseball.
Yeah. And that right there is to me, the proof's in the pudding.
Yep.
Because it's one thing to adopt, someone who's got heat.
Yep. We got a bunch of those too.
Yeah.
Of course.
In an in-house development system is very different, a lot harder because you can only work off the guys that you have.
Yep.
I went from being a coach in Miami to being a coach in, Virginia, DC. And it's like immediately after 10 plus years of having high level credentials, Olympic level support, pro environment, I became a worse coach. Well, it's not really, maybe I did, but I had different athletes.
Yeah. We've all seen that in the industry.
Of course.
We have collectors of talent.
Exactly.
And we have creators.
Mm-hmm. And you're definitely a creator. And I think it's exciting. And I think now it's really cool. You are collecting a little bit because people have messed those things up.
Yeah.
They didn't develop. They had this really raw talent and they broke them and then you go and fix them. So now you're actually seeing it kind of evolve to the point where now they're coming to you after they made those mistakes. Whereas at the beginning, you would develop them, nobody would really know you, and you're like, I'm going to sit behind the scenes. But now you're being out there, you're putting information out there, you're doing a really good job with content.
Thank you.
You're doing a great job with your culture. But what you do a more important job of, in my opinion, is your core values and how you show up. Your character is represented in every action that you do, and you genuinely do care.
I appreciate
how much is I actually emotionally invested in this person made you a better coach, but made it harder for you.
Yeah, it makes it significantly harder, but it made me the coach I am. I wouldn't be anywhere near as technically proficient as I am as a coach if I didn't care the way I do so deeply.
Yeah.
But it does make all of those pauses, those cancellations, those, hey, I'm going to try this other thing, significant.
How many times have we heard the story? Oh, we're going to try this other thing. And I'll tell you, how many times have I told you this, CJ? You have to let them go a little bit.
Yep.
It is really hard.
Yep.
And unfortunately, they're not going to know what happens because when you build a ship really well and the captain jumps off of it, or they say, hey, we want a new captain, whatever it may be, the ship's built so well, it's going to go in the right direction for a long period of time until it crashes and burns.
Yep.
And they may not correlate that change.
Yep.
Because they may not understand it. But there's been plenty of times where it's like you have to kind of learn on their own a little bit. And we try so hard because we don't want to see that happen. But then they do that, and then they're like, hey, CJ, my back's bothering me, my hips bothering me, my elbow's a mess. And I'm like, dude, like, yeah, of course. You could have avoided this. Matter of fact, we got you out of that. How much unraveling, I mean, it happens all the time, and you see it. I've mentioned it to you, like, hey, it's like prodigal son, man.
Yeah.
You got to let him go a little bit. And by the way, I say that with experience.
Yeah.
I let people go, but then I am pissed. So like, it's not that I don't feel that same emotion. Like I get angry, I get frustrated, I get upset, but well, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
I was like, hey, and the worst part about it is I want them to be successful. I don't want them to have to go through that pain.
Exactly.
That's what really bothers me even the most, is that they're going through that pain and they don't need to.
Yeah. It's not from an ego perspective, right?
It's like their career.
It's literally that you just want for them so badly that the decision is going to hurt them.
Yeah.
And it's how do you stand by that and support them in such a way, because you have to, right? That's what great leaders do. That's what leadership's about, is like you said, the prodigal son, let go a little bit to then maybe allow back, right? And how do I preserve this relationship? For me, it's been very painful, but also just being very transparent helped me a ton. Just being very clear with an athlete, like, hey, you're going to do this. I want you to know that I think that this is not the right decision, but I'm 100% rooting for you, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope you win, because that's why we started that's why we started the relationship. And that's why I started in the field, because I want you to win significantly more than I care about whose name is next to you winning.
Yeah. I mean, I don't.
If you want to bring your professional grade studio on the road to record high quality content, Go Box Studio.
I get frustrated because they're not reaching their full potential.
Yeah.
When they do that, and they don't know what happens. And oftentimes you've built such a good product that it's taken such a long time for it to be changed by someone else's doing.
Yeah.
So you're doing great work. You're got a lot to offer to the community of high performers in sport, high performers and coaches to learn from you. You're consulting at the college and pro level. You're going in there and fixing those problems when people don't want to be.
Yeah. We got some of those.
Yeah. I know it's tough, but where do you find the most enjoyment?
Yeah, I think right now it's on developing other coaches. I think that's a lot of fun for me. If you said strictly fun, that's a lot of fun, especially within our team, right? It's so fun to me to find someone else who aligns with our values and then say, all right, cool. I know you're the right person, but you just know nothing about what you need.
It's almost untraining them on what they think they know.
Exactly right. Yeah, if we can do this, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Anything but that actually would work better. Right. But I'm having a lot of fun with that piece. That's probably my favorite piece right now.
That's awesome. So empowering others to become mini yous, which I don't know how much smaller they could get because you're already like a compressed little Snickers bar. But
hold on, let me sit up.
That's all right. You're good. You still pack a punch? You still deadlift?
Yeah, I can deadlift a little.
Oh, man.
I think I was making fun of us for that on the internet.
That's right. What do you pull? Well, what have you pulled?
I pulled 635 at 180 pounds.
Got it.
Yeah, it was okay.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That's good. Was it beard or without the beard?
It was beard.
Oh, yeah. So the beard made you stronger, 100%.
So probably like 485 now with no beard.
Oh, yeah. No, that's where all your strength comes
from. The conversion factor.
That's it. I would agree. You're about to take on probably the most important journey of your life soon.
For sure.
You've developed a lot of new athletes, a lot of new people, a lot of new gyms. Everyone talks about it where it's like, oh, the gym is my baby, or this and that. I had the opportunity to celebrate New Year's with you, and I was in a suit and tie, looked pretty good.
Yeah.
With my wife at your wedding, which is really exciting. But you're about to bring a little one into the world.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to?
I will tell you, number one, I'm terrified because I'm going to be a girl dad.
That's awesome. Absolutely. There you should be.
Yeah.
It's the best thing ever happened to you.
Yeah, I am terrified. I was just actually this morning in my journal, I was journaling on this exact idea. So this is pretty funny that you asked me this. I think what I'm most excited about is to demonstrate what it looks like to be, and I wrote literally in my journal, I put, quote, a real man, what that looks like. That's what I'm most excited about. I want to demonstrate that for my daughter, what it means to treat a woman with respect, what it means to open a door, what it means to do all those little things that we take for granted. And sometimes, we jokingly skip those.
Of course.
But I'm going to make it a point to put that on full display so that my daughter knows what that looks like and can identify that.
The reason why I'm asking you this is because the feelings that you have today are going to be very different when that time comes.
Of course.
Having a young child myself, I know that there's a before Thomas and an after Thomas of like a feeling that you didn't know existed. So I'm not going to try to explain it. You're going to have to go through that experience. And whatever that is to you is going to be pretty special and very unique. So there's no reason to kind of discuss it now other than just to let you know that I wanted to put it on record so that you have something that you could look at and be like, are your actions aligned with your core values? Because you've been such a prominent figure in your space.
Yeah.
And it's something that you could kind of reflect on and kind of put timestamps on this. I want to spend some time with you and talk through your coaching frameworks. I want to talk through like how you develop a rotational athlete. How do you develop a overhead thrower?
Yeah.
And how do you reduce some of those injuries or reduce friction when you deal with a player dealing with a coaching or strength and conditioning environment that doesn't align with their body or their goals? Because you've navigated all of those so well over the years, better today probably than you did maybe 10 years ago or whatever.
Sure.
But those lessons that you've learned I think are really valuable, and I think we could really dissect that over time. But what I wanted to kind of index right now is the current place that you're in, because I've watched you grow so much over the years as a entrepreneur, as a coach, as a professional, as a husband. And what I find to be the most fascinating and inspiring is that you've always stayed true to like the core of who you are from a values and character standpoint, but from an evolution standpoint, you are nothing like the person that I met.
Yeah.
But yet at the core level, you're the exact same person that I met.
Yeah. That's the greatest compliment anyone's ever paid me.
Yeah. Like you are the absolute same person to the core, but you are unrecognizable as a professional entrepreneur, coach, developer, all of those things. I'm proud to call you my friend. I'm proud to be a part of this journey with you. And I'm most proud of the fact that you show up every day and inspire other people, and even me as a friend to be associated with you. So thank you so much. I'm excited for this. It should be a fun journey.
Yeah. Thanks for making me cry right at the end.